welcome to this special edition of Ensemble Conversations with me, Mark Kilmurry. This morning, we're going behind the scenes to a Q&A session for Honour. Honour's been running for a while now, directed by Kate Champion and written by Joanna Smith. Audience will ask questions of the cast, run by Ayeesha Ash, and it's going to be very interesting. But, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Honour yet, don't watch, because there may be some twists and turns given away, but who knows, you can watch it and perhaps they won't give anything away, but this is just a warning. I'm going back into rehearsal now for The Woman in Black, which is going very well and scaring everybody, so I will be letting you in through the doors. Enjoy Honour, thanks for watching, enjoy this special Q&A. Come this way, watch the step.
Hello and welcome to the post-show Q&A for Honour at the Ensemble Theatre, joined by people live in the theatre and also on Facebook Live at home. Hello. We would like to acknowledge and pay our respects to the Camaragal people of the Eora Nation, the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today, and pay our respects to elders past and present. My name is Ayeesha. I will be hosting today's Q&A session. I also played Claudia in the play. Would you like to...
Yes, hello. My name's Lucy Bell, and I played Honour.
My name's Hugh, and I played George.
And my name's Poppy Lynch, and I played Sophie.
Fabulous. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a quick Q&A session here, and if you have questions from the Facebook Live, you can also type them in, and we'll have some time at the end to answer those as well. So does anyone have a question they would like to start with? Very shy. Oh, there's a question in the orange.
Not so much at the STC 10 years ago.
Oh.
And it's clearly, the text has clearly been significantly updated. And at least for me, I found this production much more poignant. I thoroughly enjoyed the other one, and I remember it reasonably clearly. But this was really quite different, and I'd like to thank you all. It was wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's very nice.
Oh, you won't be able to hear it here, but it's for everybody at home online.
Mm. Yeah, we did make some changes to the script with Joanna Smith, who came into 2 days for rehearsal in the first week, I think it was. Some of those changes were we put in references to different authors, so Peter Carey, Richard Flanagan, Rachel Karsk. There was the cryptocurrency, was that already in there?
No, crypto's new.
It was Bitcoin before?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we changed it to crypto.
Yeah.
Oh yes, Twitter.
And
Kimchi and Rushdie started tweeting. Is that new?
Yeah,
that was new.
Yeah.
So this play was written in the 90s and has had so many productions over the years, and Joanna Smith has kept updating with all of those productions. She's very generous about being that flexible. So it was mainly references that were updated. And the production before, the last production before this that we know of was one in London, and some of the references that she changed for that production were quite English, and so we kind of relaxed a few of those, and made them more Australian with her.
And apparently, the version that they did on Broadway, they changed the ending so that it was all happily ever after. I mean, really.
Do we have another question?
Merrin.
Lucy, how hard is it for you to come up with that emotional response every single performance, 8 shows a week?
It's actually it's not hard because it's in the flow of the play. I actually find that the scene I find hardest is the scene that we have together when it's our first scene together, which is very wordy, and it's quite they're talking about sort of ideas, and the emotion I find quite easy compared to the sort of the more cerebral scenes.
Any other questions? Yes, in the front here. Oh, Jim's got it.
Rushing
Jim's.
towards you.
Thank you. I guess this is a question more about as actors rather than about the play itself. As a drama student, I guess I'm just wondering, what were your individual journeys to become actors and to become how did you get here, and what would you kind of recommend is the right path to take?
Ooh.
Okay, I think everyone has their own different path, but this is my first main stage thing, so I guess I'm closest to you in terms of your journey. I personally went to WAPA, which is a drama school, as did Ayeesha.
Yes.
We all went to drama schools individually, but it's not necessarily the path you have to take. And then from there, you kind of, I think what it takes is a lot of tenacity and strength within yourself. And
Because you get rejected a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, so I also think it's important to find passion in other avenues as well. So Ayeesha runs a podcast. I'm a yoga teacher on the side, but for these two, I mean, they're legends of the stage and screen, so they don't have to have that. But yeah.
I grew up in a theatrical family. My earliest memories are of Stratford upon Avon, which is where the Royal Shakespeare Company is in the UK. My father, who is still an actor, was with the Royal Shakespeare Company, along with Lucy's dad, in fact, many, many moons ago. My mum was an actor who became an agent. My stepfather was an actor. My current stepfather was a producer. So I've been surrounded with it my whole life. And in lots of ways that's a good thing, in lots of ways not such a good thing. But, you know, I've had a feel for it since I was a baby, really.
And so my parents are actors as well. And I think what that gives you is knowing that it's possible to do that, to do this as a job. And so let me tell you that it is very possible. Yeah. So, I think, when you actually see the kind of practicalities of your parents, having agents and getting work and all of that, and the kind of the difficult times as well when there's less work, we sort of see all those sides of it. But it's but if you want to do it, it's very possible to do it, and it's a good life. Yeah, but drama school is kind of a very it gives you a path, that you feel like you've covered a lot of things, and agents come and see you, and that's the kind of the linchpin is.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if I mentioned, but I went to a drama school in London for 3 years. It's called Lambda, and coming from a theatrical background, it was a bit of a tricky one because a lot of what was taught, I wasn't so sure if it was accurate or not, only because I've been in a theatrical family. However, the great things about drama schools is that you get seen by the industry. So if you go to someone like NIDA or WAPA or Victoria, VCA, whatever, the professionals within the industry who will be responsible for giving you work down the line will see you. And they're drama schools are a great showcase and a great place to build an appreciation of theatre as well, I think.
Do we have any questions coming in over the Facebook?
Got one online from Loretta. As we touched on, that the play was written by Joanna Murray Smith, like 90s. So wondering now whether she looks at the woman she wrote through a different lens now that she's older.
Well, Joanna actually did say to us that when she wrote it, she was about 25, I think, and she was writing it very much from the perspective of Claudia, and now she's in her mid-50s or 50s, and she's now can see it much more from Honna's perspective. So that's quite interesting, I think.
She also mentioned that, perhaps the next incarnation of this play, Honor would be played by a man and George played by a woman.
Yeah. Roles would be reversed.
Roles
and it
reversed.
would be the woman leaving the man.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Clarifying, yes.
Any other online?
Again, I think we've touched on this about how the themes changed since the play was first written.
I think the themes always stay the same, but it's maybe the way that they're presented, and also as we've changed as a society, some of the relationships that were presented back in the 90s wouldn't fly today, everything that's going on with Me Too, and just a stronger voice for women now. I think that kind of maybe changes the perspective, and that was probably also Kate's work as a director, trying to focus on that energy. Any questions in the audience? Oh.
Do any of you actually travel with the play to other cities?
No, we don't actually. This is just 7-week run here and we're on our last week, so we've made it.
How easy then is it to keep regular employment? Because you all seem to have part-time jobs.
It depends who you are. I mean, I've diversified, so I have 5,000 jobs, but Lucy and Hugh, this is your career.
It's all of our career. It's all of our career.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It does depend on a lot of things. It can depend on age. It can depend on, over the last 18 months, certainly depend on COVID. That's been pretty brutal to our industry. In fact, we have colleagues of ours now in Victoria who are having to stand down, of course, from the theatres in Victoria. It's been a very difficult time to be an actor, and it's hard to say. Sometimes you have a trot of work and you'll be just working non-stop for a year, and other times you might not work for 3 or 4 months. That's just how it is. But yeah, sorry, Lucy, do you want to?
And for the quieter times, I do voiceovers. Yeah, Hugh does voiceovers. Probably does. Yeah, we all do that kind of thing. So when things are less busy, there's those sorts of things that keep us going.
And teaching as well. Yeah, that's a big thing. So yeah, everyone has their things on the side, but it's always a drive in you that's your career, is your acting and your craft. But it just so happens that, there's sometimes roles and sometimes isn't, depending on the stories that people want to be telling at that time. Yeah.
Thank you. Hugh, first of all, being English and having grown up with the Bill, it's great to see you in person. But my question is about the aspect of the play of Claudia realising really quickly how it's been a mistake. And I was wondering if that was an aspect that had changed with the different iterations of the play, and your thoughts on how that contributed to the tragedy of the situation.
As far as I know, I think that's always been the case in every version of the play. That's just how the scenes and the play progresses. But I think it's very interesting, when you're in your 20s and you're figuring out things, and maybe she's a little bit too eager, and then she's not an evil person, She jumped into a situation and thought she was doing it because she felt something, and then probably actually did the right thing by leaving. And yeah, that's just the tragedy of life, isn't it? And poor George at the end is a bit... But to be fair, it was his choice too, so... Yeah, exactly. Any other questions? Oh, yes.
This is kind of another bit of a drama kid question. But I was wondering, what's the message of this play? Is this like, when you watch this play, is it trying to teach the audience something, or is it more just something that's fun to watch?
Can I ask you a question? What do you think the message of the play was?
Sorry, ask a drama kid question, get a drama kid. Honestly, I'm not really sure. Obviously, it's called Honor, but for me at least, I thought it kind of focused around George, which I thought was really interesting. But obviously, this is literally the first time I've ever watched the play. Cool. So I don't know. Is it about irony? Because in the beginning, he's talking about how this guy is ridiculous for wanting to buy a yacht, and then he mentions it half an hour later in our time. Or is it about doing the right thing?
I think the play carries a lot of themes in it. The play is about honour in the sense of the word honour, if you like, as well. But it's also about help me a second. Go on.
It's about what you're searching for in life, isn't it? Trying to fill something within yourself. Yeah.
And something that you can't see, that we see because we read the script, is that the play is called Honor with a U, but Honor, her name is Honor. So it's not actually about her. It is about, I think it is more to do with honour. Yeah, and for me, it's the kind of the messiness of humanity, of people. None of them are bad. All of them are thinking they're following the right path, the right instincts, doing what feels the right thing for them. But how do you negotiate relationships? How do you navigate your way through life in an honourable way, possibly? That they're the things that kind of chime for me. Of
Totally.
course. Yeah. It's what Claudia asks, doesn't she? Yeah.
I think that's the beauty, is that there are so many things that any audience member can take from it, and that's why Joanna writes these 4 characters so distinctly that anyone in the audience can say, oh, I'm feeling for this person right now, I'm feeling for Claudia right now, I'm feeling for George right now, and each person can teach you a different message. Yeah.
I think we have time for one more question. Lucky last. Anyone? Oh, there's... Yes, well, there's one here. Oh, we've got it.
Did you feel comfortable with the frequent light changes, with the frequent blackouts or darkouts?
Sometimes the first few times we did it, it was total blackout and I couldn't see a thing, so that was quite terrifying. But we kind of become quite accustomed to it, don't you? I don't think anyone's fallen over yet.
There was one issue, and it was not to do with one issue, not to do with the theatre so much, but the theatre lost power. And so we were in the middle of the show, and the cue lights backstage, we have cue lights which go from red to green to let you know when you should be going on. They weren't working, and the lights weren't coming up. So there was one scene change. I think you and I did it, was it?
Yeah.
We walked on stage and
it
we
was
could not
pitch
see
black.
a thing. And
It's
we were banging
terrifying.
yeah, it sounded like a...
Oh my god!
Yeah,
it was like
tripping
the
over the
apocalypse.
stage.
Terrible.
But otherwise we are very used to it.
And it sort of becomes like a bit of a dance when you get used to it. So there's a move I do, which I always feel very, which I, in the dark, I turn around, in the montage I turn around, and I can't see, but I feel my way to go back. So that always feels fun.
Those transitions were, I'm sorry, I don't do any, and so I feel very bad, but that was a whole scenario to try and remember
Ayeesha
them.
and Hugh
poor
moving
things.
all the furniture, yeah.
They have to do about 20 different scene transitions. So.
Yeah, it's very good.
Oh, yes. Having for lunch.
Oh, that's so sweet.
What am I having for lunch? Well, we had some very nice lamb shanks the other day, so I might finish those off with a little bit of parsnip mash.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for coming and for staying around for the Q&A. And thank you to everyone watching it on Facebook Live. Have a great day.